Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am talking about a pen that I have not shown you guys before, and that is a Pelikan M1005. So it is the biggest Pelikan there is. I'm going to show you the pen and the writing experience. I'm going to talk about the nib, and then I'm also going to show you a comparison of the sizes of Pelikans I have. So I'm going to show you the 140 I have, an M200, an M400, an M600, an 800, and then the 1000 or 1005. This particular 1005 is the Stresemann, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous pen. And I must say, I think this Pelikan nib of the modern nibs is one of the most crazy great nibs I've used by Pelikan. So that promises something. Anyway, let us switch to shot and go look at this beauty up close. All right, let us start with a close-up shot of this beautiful M1005 Stresemann, and it is a gorgeous pen. It is really big. It has these lovely gray silvery stripes on the body, and it's a 1005, not 1000, so it has silver trimmings, and I honestly think it looks super sleek and classy. Not classic, but classy. It has, of course, the Pelikan on there, and then the beak-shaped clip. This clip is super usable. Very nice. You can clip it to a shirt and bring it wherever you want to go. I'm not doing that. This is not my pen. I'm borrowing it for review. But you can definitely clip this to a shirt and it'll be safe on there. Black cap, black piston knob, and it has a black section. I'll get to that in a second. I just want to show you, if I can, the inscription on the cap band. That's something that Pelikan does. And I love the two silver rings on there. The two rings is something that you get with the M400 and up. If you get an M200, it's just a single silver or gold cap band element. But let us uncap it, because this nib is something else. It is a little inky, but that just happens because I didn't wipe it very well, I think. And this is a really, really big nib. It's gold. I think it is 18K gold. It has that beautiful Pelikan on there. And then this is just such a big nib. And it's honestly kind of perfect because this pen is really big. It needs a big nib, of course. But what struck me most about this nib is the writing experience. So this is an extra fine, and it's so wet. Like, this is the wettest extra fine I have ever used. And then in addition to being super wet, it also is really soft. And it really surprised me because it's a modern Pelikan, and modern Pelikans are generally just stiff nibs, but this one is something else. I'm going to grab a notebook and I'm going to just show you the writing experience. Again, this is not my pen, so I'm not going to push it too much, but I promise you there's some definite bounce in this pen, and it is great. Alright, I have some Tomoe River paper here. I inked this up with a black ink, and I'm generally not a big fan of black inks, but this pen, I like it. It's like sleek and it suits the design. Before I start writing, this pen is big, and it's not only big, it is very thick. That, I think, is my main problem with this pen. Because it's so thick, it doesn't feel comfortable for me in longer writing sessions. However, if you've had big hands, if you like thick grips, you'll be fine, right? But for me, it is a little too big. Now, this pen is postable, makes it top heavy. I wouldn't do it. It's not really something that this pen needs. It is big enough on its own and pretty glorious. All right, I'll try and zoom in a little bit and then do some writing. Let's go here. Oh, Pelikak. I'm really good at writing, guys. It's because I try to focus on both the camera and what I'm writing. Pelikan, there we go. M1005 extra fine. And as you can see, it's not a super fine pen, right? This is supposedly an extra fine. I would say it's a fine. And it is super wet. Like, this is still so wet. Now I am using an Iroshizuku ink, which also is a fairly wet ink. It's Takesumi. I'm sorry about my dog. She likes to bark at squirrels. Takesumi, which is a lovely, lovely ink. It might skew how wet this pen is a little bit. So it might seem a little wetter than it would be with, for example, Sailor 123, which is a dry ink. This is a wet ink. It is a wet nib. It makes it doubly wet. I love it, of course. I love wet pens. Well, no pressure. It's just this. Now, because this is a modern pen and not sold as a flex pen, you shouldn't really like flex it. I'm gonna push it a little bit to show you what it does. And this is like light pressure. Like, I'm not pushing it hard. So as you can see, you can definitely increase the line width here, and you can also see that it drops even more ink on the page. And I love that. It is a great and lovely writing experience. Only thing that I don't like is how big it is. Like, I can't properly use this for a long time. And I want to, because the nib is great. It is such a fun nib to write with. Like, honestly. Wish you could transplant this nib onto a different pen. Anyway, I think it's time to show you guys the size comparisons, and then I'm not only gonna focus on the bodies, but also on the nib sizes, because the nibs are all different sizes. All right, here we have a shot of just the pens next to each other. This is just to show you the sizes. So the first three are fairly comparable. This is the 140 I was talking about. That is the vintage one. It is only slightly, like millimeters smaller than the 200, which is this one. This is an M200. It's called the Rings Edition, I believe. 205 to be specific. This is a 400, same size as the 200, same size nib, but different material, namely this is a gold nib. 600 is slightly bigger than the 400, also sports a bigger nib. Then we get to the big boys, the M800, definitely quite a lot bigger than the 600, and again, big nib. And then here is the monster of them all, the 1000. Now, as you can see, the differences between these two don't seem very big, but the thickness of these pens does also differ. So the M1000, 1005 is thicker than the 800. 800 is like my max. This is the one I can still comfortably use, and then this one is like, I can use it for a couple of sentences and then it's uncomfortable. Anyway, let's quickly open these up and look at the nibs. Now, of course, the main comparison will probably be between these three because they are the higher price segment. I think I forgot to mention that the 1005, this one, retails for like $730. It does change a bit, but I don't think I've seen it for less than $720. All right, here we have the nibs of the pens that are very similar in size. The 140 has a vintage 14K nib, a very nice nib, but not very different in size from the steel counterpart, which is on the M200. Nice nib, but steel. And then here we have the gold nib, also same size as the 200. All right, those are the small pens. Now, I can show you quickly the difference between the 400 and 600. Doesn't look very big difference, but there is definitely a difference. They are not interchangeable. The 600 is definitely bigger. All right, now onto the main attractions. I'll keep the 600 in this comparison, but I don't think it's very comparable. Just so you guys know, the main comparison will be between the 800 and the 1000. Okay. Here we have them side by side. Of course, these two are very dark. It's kind of hard to see how thick they are. Believe me, the 800 is thicker than the 6 and the 1000 is thicker than both. Uncapping, rolling. Only this one is inked. I might actually ink the Ocean Swirl, but I'm just gonna try and keep the nibs next to each other and then zoom in so you guys can see how different they are. Ooh. Another notable difference, I'm really struggling. Okay. I'm laughing at myself. Notable difference, the 600 has a 14K nib, 800 has 18K, and the 1000 has 18K. Now I'm gonna keep my hand there and it might look a little stupid, but I just wanna show you these different nib sizes. So as you can see, the 1000 is like massively bigger than the rest. Of course, these nib sizes are still decent, but this one is really, really monstrosity-like in the best way. It is lovely. Now, I can see it has a hard time focusing, but I don't really have another good way to just show them side by side. Now, let me just grab these two next to each other to show you the difference. I think it's obvious which one is the 1000 and which one is the 800. And it might be the size of the nib that also influences how soft the nibs are, but that is just a guess by me and not actually a scientific statement. So, all right. Lovely pens. Great fun to use them. Also, I was very intimidated by it. If you love big pens and you want something that's really big, sports a really big nib, I would say try the 1000, the M1000. It's not a pen you buy lightly because of the price, and it might not be for everyone because it's so big. Pelikan sizes are really interesting because of course they raise in price with the size. But it's nice that this brand has something for everyone because the sizes differ and then the price ranges also differ. And if you're lucky, you can also find gold nibs for cheap on eBay. But that's if you're lucky. The market has been kind of hard lately. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed filming it. I enjoyed using this pen even though it is not my favorite size. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. Also, special shout out to Dr. Brownie. Instagram will be linked below. Dr. Brownie is the one who let me borrow this pen for review. He's been kind enough to send me like a box of pens, so I'm going through them. And thanks again. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.